Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you guys are well and safe and still alive from whatever you guys were doing last night. Myself, these days I am in bed by 7:30, 8 if I'm being really adventurous. So my staying up till midnight days are long behind me at this point with kids. But I did wake up right before midnight just to hear a few explosions in the background. So that was kind of exciting. So hope you guys are off to a good start. Many of you probably have the day off and you're probably recovering from maybe a hangover or something worse, or maybe not at all. But I wanted to at least just start the year off with you guys, do a little live stream here, talk to you guys about what we are doing, what we're focused on for 2025. As many of you probably have been watching some of my recent videos and a lot of the recent emails I've been sending out to all of you. Sync Focus 2025. That is the play. That is the move. That is the only thing really that we're going to be focusing on this entire year. Now I say it's like one thing we're going to be focusing on. There are hundreds of different micro subjects within Sync Focus that we're going to basically be channeling into and sort of focusing on a month by month basis. But I certainly wanted to check in with you guys early on today and early on in the year just to wish you guys all the best and maybe to answer some questions if you guys have any. We've had a lot of members actually join Sync Academy in the last couple of days as a result of the announcements and basically me kind of laying out essentially what we're going to be doing. The schedule of what we're going to be focusing on month by month will be in the description box below this channel, this video, if you want to go check it out for yourself. But essentially, this is the time of year on January 1st where, our excitement, our motivation, our feeling of something new, we can do something new. We can do something extraordinary. This is at the highest we could possibly be in our life. And hold on, let me refresh my thing because I'm not seeing your guys' chats. Let me see. I want to make sure we can interact though before we continue on here. Probably just had a little bit of a stale extraordinary. There we go. Get that one. There you go. Hey, Isomatic, you're here. Good to see you. Now I can see your guys' chats. So essentially what I want to do is explain to you guys kind of the title of this video, which is that we are swimming in content these days. If you guys are on YouTube as much as I am or other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, there's so much advice being given. There's so many tutorials. There's so much stuff out there floating around. And so we can kind of get stuck in this loop, and I've definitely gotten stuck in it many times, consistently over and over again, of watching a whole bunch of stuff, reading a whole bunch of stuff, and mistaking all that watching and reading for educating myself, actually getting something accomplished. I guess you could say you are, in one way, educating yourself, but you're only educating yourself in the shallowest form, which is basically just becoming aware of maybe a sync licensing strategy, maybe understanding how to find libraries, which is what we're going to be talking about this Monday for our Zoom call. And the difference, though, between just getting lost in tutorial land and in reading other people's opinions and, reading blogs or whatever, versus actually doing something yourself is an ocean apart in terms of the quality of the education you're actually going to get. So Sync Focus, even though there's going to be guided monthly calls and we're going to have some exercises and some opportunities for you guys to, learn, of course, how this business works, how to really thrive and succeed at it. Everything that we're going to do with it is going to rely on you doing the work. Okay, so we're not doing the work for you. I'm not going to tell you what style of music you should produce. That's not my job. I'm not going to teach you how to carve out your own unique sonic brand for your music. That's not my job either. That is your job. That's your business, right? You are the CEO of your creativity. You are the captain of your ship. All I'm going to do is to show you a path that you could potentially walk down, sail on, whatever analogy we're in now. That's all I'm going to be doing with Sync Focus, is to give you a guided process. But we're not going to focus a lot of time on, pulling you into tutorials and into education and all that kind of stuff, because you will do such a little amount of learning by spending all your time doing those things. You're going to get a lot more value and benefit out of just doing the work, meaning just getting into your home studio, pulling open your DAW and starting to compose, doing some research and finding a couple of high quality 3 to 5 production music libraries. That's going to be our sort of initial goal in January. I'm going to show you guys on Monday how to start finding them. some of the methods are going to be for free. They're going to take a little bit longer, but you can absolutely find a lot of these companies for free. Do your own research and kind of evaluate which ones you really want to work with, all the way up to the premium service that I can offer you to shortcut all of that research and also help you understand exactly my top rated libraries and how I analyze them and what types of music I feel would be the best fit for them. So I'm going to give you guys all those resources essentially and let you guys know what you can get access to there. But that's just me showing you a path. That's all that is. I'm not doing the work for you. I'm not going to tell you which library you should partner with. None of that. And I have to say that I think the only way that you're going to be able to turn this into part-time or even, full-time or even part-time income is if you're willing to do a lot of this work yourself. In fact, all the work yourself. Okay. So one thing that I am doing as a personal challenge to myself is to be pulling away from watching other people talk about things, but rather just going and doing the things that I want to learn more about. So maybe I'll watch a tutorial or two about a particular topic, but I really don't want to get lost in the world of, well, I guess there's maybe one more tutorial I could watch and then I'll get better at it. Maybe there's one more little secret that I don't know about and I need to know that before I get started. That is the kind of thinking that'll get you stagnated. It'll actually have you stop and you'll be procrastinating essentially on your progress. And so we definitely don't want to be doing that. Let me just refresh this real quick, make sure that we're still going here. Yeah, we're going. Cool. Just wanted to make sure. So that's kind of what I am thinking about in terms of where we're going with Sync Focus 2025. And I wanted to give you guys a chance to essentially chime in and ask any questions if you potentially have anything about it. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting together the presentation for this Monday, which is going to be January 6th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Everybody in Sync Academy, you guys obviously already have the Zoom link. It's in our events tab. If you're on my mailing list, I will be also emailing you the Zoom link. This first call, I'm actually going to open it up for free for everybody to participate if you'd like to. You can jump in. We can have a little Q&A session. I'm going to give you guys a guided tour of how do we find these libraries, all the different methods of finding them, and then also just my analysis, my thought pattern for how I analyze each one, whether or not I would be comfortable submitting music to them and what type of music I would want to submit to them. So I'm going to kind of walk you through that process in a few different libraries through just a live Zoom call so you guys can see that. And again, if it's not clear, why are we looking at libraries if maybe you don't even have music ready to be pitched yet? Shouldn't you be doing the music first and then finding the libraries? No, I don't think that is the smart approach for the main reason, I think obvious reason, that if you are going to go spend a month or two cranking out 8, 10 tracks, whatever, but you don't really know where the market is now, what particular libraries are currently offering to their clients, what types of tracks are getting placed with recent placements. Like if you don't have any of that knowledge behind you, you could be wasting a lot of time, and spending months, maybe even the whole year producing music that eventually just sits and collects digital dust on your hard drive because no library really wants it, because you didn't just do a quick, easy, not very time consuming amount of research at the very beginning of the process to understand, all right, I got to get 3 to 5 companies, specific companies that I've done some research on. I know who they serve. I know what kind of music they carry. More importantly, I have been spending a lot of time, this is you talking, listening to the kinds of music that they've currently released and that they are shopping to their clients. If you're doing that, then as you go into your home studio, which I know many of you have limited time, you've got day jobs, you've got obligations, maybe you can carve out 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, maybe up to 20 or 30 or more, depending on what you can give to this. But having this kind of research done, knowing exactly where you're going, you basically have a target now. You can start in a more intelligent manner by making sure that your tracks are the right length, the right style, the right structure, the right instrumentation. All these things that you can learn by studying from people who have come right before you and have gotten their tracks accepted by these libraries. So you absolutely can thrive and succeed by following in their footsteps, but again, also carving out your own unique style and approach to it. So that's basically the method to the madness. And then as we move on through the rest of the year with Sync Focus, we're going to talk about essentially the ins and outs of the mechanics of the industry, the different sources of income, of course, that you can earn. What are some of the different strategies? You might have different strategies for different types of libraries, right? There are some libraries where it's more of a quantity game, a numbers game, where you're going to want to make sure that they're a company that you can consistently give maybe a new album every month or 2 months to, right? And there's some libraries that you can do really well with that kind of a play. If they're doing more reality TV shows, maybe sports, where it's more of like quantity placements, lots and lots of placements. And that's definitely been a big chunk of my career. In fact, I'd say 80-90% of my career was working with companies like that. However, there are also really profitable companies you can work for that are not going to be asking for music from you every single month, but they'll basically keep you on their Rolodex and they'll reach out to you when, if they have an opportunity for you. So this could be trailer companies, this could be advertising companies, it could be companies that are basically looking for music on demand when they have a particular brief in front of them. So these are usually where you find those much larger sync fees, right? It could be 10, 20, 30 grand, maybe even more, depending on the client, all that kind of stuff. So you probably aren't going to be working with this type of a company month in, month out, but every so often, if you have a couple of these in your back pocket, they can reach out to you and say, we've got a client. We know that you make that kind of music. You want to give this a shot. It's not a guarantee you're going to get it, but at least you have a brief coming in that you could get excited for. And if you don't get it, maybe that company can find another use for it. Or you can take this music that you just created and go find a home for it with one of your other library partners that does accept music all the time. So you see there's kind of a strategy you can kind of employ here. So, hey, Tracy, good to see you. Glad that you're enjoying the video. And what we're going to be doing as we move forward past that is we're going to give you guys some opportunities to collaborate. Now, collaborations are becoming more and more the thing to do in this business because, as I said before, and what I'll be talking about more on this channel in this month, good enough production music is not good enough anymore. And I'll explain that in a future video. But essentially, you need to be bringing top-notch A+ material to libraries these days if you want them to even accept you. I'm not saying they won't accept music that's like average, a little above average, and they could see maybe a home for it. But if you really want to be the cream that rises to the top and has clients constantly finding you and searching you out and putting you on favorite playlists and constantly placing your tracks, collaborations can be the key for you to be able to do that. Because let's say you're great at producing hip hop drums and hip hop beats, right? So you got that all day long. Hip hop is very saturated. There's a lot of people that can create hip hop music. It's not that unique. It's not that special. It's not that rare. It's really hard to carve out a sort of a place for yourself if you're just making generic traditional hip hop beats, right? But you collaborate with an amazing rock guitarist, rock producer, and then you guys are creating ridiculously awesome hip hop rock hybrid tracks that are very rare and hard to come by. Maybe you guys put an album together of like retro Beastie Boys sounding hip hop rock tunes. That could be kind of a cool thing. That could be very licensable. You fast forwarded it into a little bit more of a, electro rock, EDM kind of a style. There's all different types of possibilities. But if you think you're going to be the end all be all and all of your talents will be enough to carve out that kind of attention for yourself everywhere in this industry, chances are probably not. There's a few exceptions to the rule. There's a couple of just wizards in this business that can do amazing by themselves all day, every day. They don't really need to collaborate. But the vast majority of us do have our weaknesses, myself included. We do have our areas of like, I'm not great at that. So if you can basically take your strengths, combine it with the strengths of another producer, it's not just double as good, it is 10 times as good. It becomes undeniable. So that's where we're going to have some opportunities for you guys to collaborate and get you guys a little bit closer with each other. Of course, with Sync Academy, we have about 1,000 members. So there's a lot of people to choose from. And we have a collaborations corner where we're going to walk you guys through how to kind of walk through that and start posting up some opportunities to try to match each other to find the right kind of collaborators. And you're going to partner with a couple of people. It's not just going to be one collaborator for your year. You can have a couple of different projects with a couple of different collaborators. And yes, we do have some great vocalists. We just did one of our pro feedback reviews a couple weeks ago. One of the tracks had a female vocalist that for me, it was definitely the strongest track I feel in her style. I've heard other strong tracks as well, but it was a EDM pop track. And I told her, I said, this is a hit song. It's almost too good for sync. I mean, I'm glad that she's trying to pitch it for sync, but I just thought I almost would put this out, and try to make a campaign out of this because I think this song could go viral. It's really high quality. So we've got the goods in Sync Academy. We've got high quality vocalists. We've got high quality talent that you have access to as a part of our community as well. Again, you do not have to join us in Sync Academy to participate with Sync Focus 2025. You can create your own progress chart. I will be broadcasting a vast majority of these Zoom calls and all this content to you guys here on the channel. I want everybody to be productive this year. I want everybody to win. But of course, Sync Academy gets you a lot more of that community interactive feature that maybe you are looking for to be feeling like you have some accountability and that you can get access to many other very productive and motivated, positive producers that you can start to network with and collaborate. Because as we get to the end of the year, my goal is for each one of you to have some of these people's phone numbers in your phone and email is in your inbox, and actually have some direct communication with with many more people than you had in 2024. This is a people business, and collaboration and networking is a great way to do that. Artificially networking doesn't always work out, where you're just sending blind, I get them all the time on LinkedIn of like, hey, I see you're involved with Sync. I would like to be involved with that too. We should be networked. Okay, I accept almost everybody that wants to accept. That's cool. But we're not working on anything together. I don't know anything about you. I don't know, I get these all the time. And so a lot of times you can create much stronger networking relationships and opportunities by working together and partnering on stuff like that. So that's definitely going to be available to you guys here in the platform. Then we're going to obviously move on into mindset, which is definitely something that will probably be sprinkled out throughout the early part of Sync Focus 2025, because getting your mindset right is so important. It's more important than understanding anything about this business. If you don't have the right mindset for this, it's definitely not going to work out. So it's not that we're only going to talk about the mindset stuff later on in the year, but we're definitely going to spend and focus, I think, at least 2 Zoom calls specifically for that, because by June, July, August, this New Year's, sparkle that we all feel right now, that's going to be gone. You guys already know that. That is going to be definitely dead. So at that point, we need to go into a deeper level of motivation and figure out how do we change our thinking if we're feeling demotivated, if we're feeling like, oh, this is going to take too long. What am I doing? How long can I really do this, right? All these self-doubts, comparing ourselves to others, seeing other people get some placements and doing great, getting accepted, and maybe you're not getting accepted by that point. Maybe you've been ignored already or rejected by the few 3 to 5 libraries that you picked out. That's coming for a lot of you guys, right? I don't want to be the wet blanket to destroy your New Year's fun today, but just the reality, I've been doing this for 8 years, coaching you guys. I've been in Sync for 16, going on 17 years. This is a very common story. It's a hard business. Most producers don't make it. That's just the truth of it. That's the reality of it, okay? So I don't want you guys to have false expectations moving into this. This is going to kick your butt. This is going to be work. It's going to be dedication. This is going to be focus, right? But the good news is that I believe with a program like Sync Focus 2025, you can not follow the herd, because I think what's happening right now, if you go on LinkedIn, you go on any social media today, nothing but people talking about their New Year's resolutions, right? I'm going to the gym. I'm changing my diet. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Love it. Great. Don't want to be the negative Nancy here. 90% of that ain't going to work. Most of that stuff you guys see online right now, people talking about all this stuff, probably not going to work out. Why? Because I think they're making the same mistake that I've made in my life, and I think many of you guys have made in your life, is they are excited and feeling, they have a feeling, they have an emotion right now on January 1st. This is going to be my year. I'm going to do it. I feel so good. Let go of the last year. This is going to be a new thing. That feeling does not last all year round. If you could buy a pill to give you that feeling every single day, well, I think they do make those pills, but I think you end up in a really bad place later on in the year. So it's just not possible. You're not going to feel this motivated and excited and on fire in June, in August. It's going to happen at some point where that excitement and that new feeling of fresh energy will dissipate, and you'll be left with a lot of doubts, a lot of lingering feelings of like, maybe that was a mistake, maybe I shouldn't, or distractions, right? We talked about that in some of my previous videos, that like life is just going to throw you a ton of distractions no matter what your New Year's resolutions are. And so what we're trying to do with our Sync Focus program is to anticipate that, expect that. That is coming, doesn't matter. If you got Sync Focus, who cares? It doesn't matter if social media starts to get a little addicting. Doesn't matter if works, other projects start to kind of pull you away a little bit more from what you wanted to do. Doesn't matter what's happening in your world. If you've got something that you've decided to do, not just hoping it's going to work out. In fact, it's funny, the video I put out this morning asking you guys to make your first decision, like how many hours per week are you going to decide, not want, what are you going to decide to commit to? 1 hour a week? That's fine. 5 hours a week? That's fine. Doesn't really matter what the number is. Don't get too aggressive thinking 40. If you can't really realistically do 40, that's not a smart idea. Start small in something you can actually achieve and attain, and then build yourself up. But somebody, like one of the first comments was, well, I hope I can get about an hour to an hour and a half per week. But I almost want to tell them, rewatch that video, because the whole point of the video was to get away from this kind of language. We don't hope. Like, hoping is not useful. Everybody hopes for something, right? That's not That's not dedicated and determined enough to make a real change. Hoping, it's just flopping in the wind. Deciding, decisive action, making a decision, putting it in writing. That's why I'm asking a lot of you guys to put it as a comment. Write it below. How many hours per week are you going to commit? Make a public statement. I will commit 5 hours a week to this. Why write it down? Many studies have shown that when people want to make changes and want to introduce a new habit, publicly declaring it keeps that new goal a little bit more accountable in your head, because you remember, I did write that down. Somebody else saw me write that down. I don't want to be known as a liar. I don't want to be known as a flake. I don't want to be the guy that didn't or girl that didn't hold true to what I said I was going to do. All right, let's just get my butt in gear and at least put an hour in this week, or whatever you decide to do. Okay, so that's why I'm asking you guys to be public about it. Write it down, even if it's just a comment on a YouTube video here in the little corner of the internet. It's still a public comment. It still can make a difference for you in your mind, not about the broader internet or the world. It's really about you and your mindset and your focus. And then we're going to be moving on into kind of getting your pitch package together. If you need to put a website together, if you're going to use Disco or RealCrafter or your own website, how to craft your email and pitching the library. So all the things, basically all the things. We're not going to get into all the details today, but it's going to be a great productive year. And what I love about it is it kind of gives me an entire year already mapped out, planned out for what we're going to be doing. And I'm loving that feeling right now, because sometimes I'll start the year going, what am I going to talk about this year? Like, I feel like I've covered everything. What else are we going to do? What else is there to cover? And it's a little bit stressful because I have to kind of come up with new content. That's one of the stressful things about being on YouTube or creating, consistent videos, is what now? What next? So this has been, for me, already very relieving, because it's already set out my entire year. I know exactly what I'm talking about in March. I know what I'm talking about in April. I know what I'm talking about in November. So it's going to be really, really great for me to be able to get myself also more focused and know exactly how to provide some value for you guys. And last but not least, I want to read some of your guys' comments. It is a work in progress in terms of, it's not set in stone. I'm open to suggestions. I want your feedback. I want you guys that are participating, especially those of you in Sync Academy, to say, what do you love about the current process as we get it started? What are you not wanting? What are some more features that you want to see added? What features are just not that relevant for you? The more you guys are vocal about that, the more we will, form and mold this thing and make it more useful for you guys as the year moves on. But my goal is definitely to have all of you guys staying focused on making production music all year round. Whether or not you get accepted by a production music library, some of you will. I definitely already know some of you will. Some of you, probably many of you, won't. That's just the nature of the reality. That's the nature of this business. Maybe 2025 isn't the year you'll get accepted by a library, but you can't come into this thinking it's either you get accepted by a library in 2025 or it's a bust. If that's your mindset, and maybe you're just not ready to get accepted by a library yet, I don't know if there's a future here for you. Rather than going to a lofty goal of placements or acceptances or whatever, it can happen for some of you and it will happen for some of you. My real basic goal, if we kind of strip all that away, is just on the fundamental level of, you're just going to show up consistently. That's it. Whether or not you're on a Zoom call with us, you're doing your own research on a library, you're making music, which is the vast majority of your time. That should be most of what your 5 hours a week, whatever you commit to, should be spent doing, is actually making your music. But whatever that is, you just need to keep your head in the game. You need to keep showing up every single week. We're basically developing a new habit. We're kind of flexing some new muscles, and we're going through a little bit of the growing pain, and having you show up every single week. Because, if you think this is going to be your full-time job, but you get to kind of not be involved with music for a month or two, dream on. It ain't going to happen. Sync is it's a grind. You got to show up. You got to be there consistently. You got to be able to answer, respond to briefs when they come in a timely manner. So it's about being there. It's about being consistent and about showing up. So that's kind of the base level of what Sync Focus is. 2024, for a lot of you guys watching this, you didn't show up every single month, right? Let's just be honest. Some of you did, but a lot of you had a month or two where you were excited, then you flaked out, and then you got distracted. Then other things happen. It's cool. It happens. Let it go. 2024 is over. I'm not saying dwell on it. Don't feel bad about it. Forget it. But let's not do the same thing again, right? Let's not hope and expect that, the 2025 is a new number, so things will work out differently, right? No, it will not if you don't do something radically different, right? And I think this is something very radically different that we're doing with Sync Focus. So, hey, Tracy, good to see you. Oliver, hey, I feel my strength is making heartwarming folk acoustic music, but I'm afraid there's not much demand for this kind of music. There's a demand for that, for sure, Oliver. I would say doing Heartwarming folk acoustic music is great for advertising campaigns. So I definitely see that kind of music used a lot in ads. But what I would encourage you to do is not just do heartwarming folk acoustic music. My advice to you, Oliver, would be to do a few different styles going with your folk acoustic, energy. So maybe, again, a collaboration opportunity for you if you do a great acoustic guitars and you can record them. Could you partner with a trailer composer producer, which we have plenty in Sync Academy? We've got a lot of high quality ones. They do the big epic kind of cinematic drums and percussion and all that kind of stuff. And you throw in your acoustic elements on top. So you make this kind of like almost dangerous, dark sounding country western trailer music. That's another area that could be really, really profitable for you guys if you want to go in that direction. Also, there could be a great demand for folk acoustic music for corporate clients, right? For different types of corporate music, you could definitely do well there. Also, with reality shows. So not just doing the heartwarming side of it, that's definitely going to be, but also could you do something that's kind of like just upbeat, fun dance acoustic folk music? There's a lot of opportunity for that in a lot of reality TV shows. So there's many different places you can go with that. So if you are only wanting to do heartwarming, yes, you are going to probably limit exactly how much you're going to get. But if you're open to doing a couple of different styles and different sort of, emotional focuses for your style of music, then I think you can open yourself up to some great opportunities for sure. All right. Tracy's saying the huge win for a singer, songwriter, producer. I'm trying in a new lane, rock, hip hop, plus sync. It's really difficult to obtain. Okay. Hey, Jess, maybe put your number of hours you've worked per week in a journal. That way you keep yourself accountable. Just a thought. Yeah. And writing this stuff down for sure for yourself could certainly make a big difference for many of you guys that are wanting to take this very, very seriously for sure. So again, it's one of these things where I am not going to be doing the work for you. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. It's really going to be on you guys that want to follow along with this and make it very, very profitable and very productive. So we can give you the roadmap. We can give you the guidance. We can show you essentially what works. We can do market research. That's what we're going to be starting with this Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. But nobody's doing the work for you. Nobody's going to, carve out your sound for you. Nobody's going to make your mixes better. And sorry, no tutorial, nothing you see in Sync Academy is going to do you any good if you're not putting in the work yourself, okay? So I don't want you to think that, oh, I'll just jump into Sync Focus and I got a career on my hands. Nope, it ain't gonna happen. That's not my business. That's not what I do. That's not at all part of this, okay? This is about you doing the work and not getting stuck in tutorial land and education land, and also not drifting and getting distracted and kind of floating around. So, hey, Steven's here. Steven, speak of somebody who's done really well in sync. Steven was on my channel last year. Happy New Year to you, man. And Steven is somebody that has definitely seen, the ups and downs of this business getting started quite a few years ago, but seeing his, placements grow, his royalties grow, and seeing just some great results from this as well. And Steven, actually, I'm glad you're here because I think I'll reach out to you to have you as one of our guest speakers for one of these upcoming Zoom calls in our Sync Focus thing, maybe in February or March. I'll reach out to you and see if we can get you on there. But I want you guys not only to hear from me, you guys hear from me all the time on this channel. You're probably sick of hearing from me. I'm sick of hearing from myself most of the time. But I want you guys to also hear from other producers that are partnering with libraries, also CEOs of those libraries. We're going to have them as well. But I want you guys to get different perspectives because Steven has a different, career. Obviously, he has a different trajectory. It's similar to kind of what I did, but he has a different approach for how he's been doing what he's doing. And what was great about our conversation before is he kind of laid out the particular type of mindset that's required for the type of production music that he's creating. So there's different types of production music. There's different types of music that's made for TV and film. And what he's doing is definitely more of the quantity game of, keeping it high quality, right? Not just like skimping on the details, but definitely you can't get so married to any particular track or detail in the track that you don't just get it done. And so he's got himself on a very, very tight, strict, sort of daily schedule where he's knocking out usually multiple cues sometimes in a single day. So he's working very quickly, very efficiently, but his brain works well with that. I think my brain kind of is in the same method where I want to get things done as soon as possible. And I find that I am freed up by having the restricted time. I don't like somebody saying, yeah, give me a track by the end of the month. It's way too much time. I'll second guess myself. I'll think that I can do 18 different things. I like tight deadlines. I like knowing that if I want to have a shot at this kind of a gig or the placement opportunity, I got to get it done by 5 o'clock today. That actually, it seems like a restriction, but for me, it's a freedom because it like helps my brain get out of its own way and it helps me be much more decisive. Again, that's the theme of Sync Focus. We make decisions. We don't just hope. We don't just pray. We don't just want to get things done. We decide. We make a decision. There is a difference. Are you guys, by the way, I'm asking you guys that are here, are you guys understanding this difference that I've been trying to really just emphasize in the last couple of videos, that wanting something and deciding to get that thing are two different things? Are you guys getting that clear? Maybe I need to spend a little bit more time just describing and defining that difference. But I'm curious if that's kind of ringing through, if you guys are understanding that. Definitely let me know. Please leave a chat comment. Hey, Cedric, Happy New Year to you as well. Don't know why you're not notified of these lives, but I'm here. Oh, well, you got notified of this one, Cedric, so I don't know how you stumbled into this one, but welcome. Cool. So, Tracy, you do other elements as well, or other styles, right? If you're open to collaboration, that's great. Yeah. I think everybody should be open to collaboration now more than ever, for sure. So, cool. Steven, I'll definitely reach out to you, man. Thanks for making yourself available. I'm gonna take a wild guess, Steven. You are working today, right? It's New Year's Day, but I can almost guarantee you're cranking out music this morning, right? This is probably your little break as you get back to work. Let me know. Andriana, sorry, I got your name wrong. What do you suggest, music libraries or reaching out to supervisors? That's a great question, Andriana, and I definitely recommend music libraries. Primarily, my bias is that's what I did, right? So I'm gonna teach you guys what I know worked for me and what I think is a very profitable path because I've seen it work out. This is also what Steven's doing. He's working with production music libraries. And so people that I know who are doing great in this business have worked with production music libraries. I am going to have a dedicated video on this channel this month. I've made a few, Andriana. You can go look back on my YouTube if you want to. Just type in music supervisor and you'll find out. I think I've made 2 or 3 videos. I'm going to make an updated version of that this month though, because it's a very common question and I might have a couple of different new takes on the debate there. But you know, basically TLDR, music libraries, I think, are the better fit. I think they're the path of least resistance. They're the open opportunity that have their doors open to new composers. And I think you stack up your chances of making this a consistent source of income when you work with production music libraries. So that's just my 2 cents. I'll give you the full analysis later this month. So make sure you do subscribe if you're not already, because that video is definitely in the works. It's going to be coming. So. Hey, Mickey, is it normal to have a follow-up a lot with music supervisors to make sure cue sheets were submitted so you're getting paid? See, I don't necessarily follow up with supervisors, Mickey, because I work with production music libraries. If you find that things are missing, definitely that's when you need to reach out to your production music library because they're the publisher on it, and that means they're missing out on royalties as well. So if you have, let's say, a track uploaded through TuneSat, you see you got a detection, but then you're not getting the royalties, then that's something for you and your production music library to certainly reach out to. But if you got a placement with a supervisor, definitely reach out to them and say, hey, what happened? Where's the cue sheet? Why didn't it get turned in? So normal, it's very common. I wouldn't say like it's something that like happens every single time, but it's common enough that it's a pain point that we all deal with in this business. Missing royalties, not, cue sheets fail to be turned in. It happens more often than I want it to, for sure. It sucks, but it's human beings, so it's kind of part of the business too. Yeah, Steven's saying he just finished an album and started revisions on a track for a new label, but there'll also be plenty of video games later. All right, right on. But I'm out for now. All right, take it easy, buddy. Good chatting with you, and we'll be in touch soon for sure. So, and with that, I think I'll go ahead and head off to here as well. So I wanted to wish you guys again Happy New Year. Glad you guys are with us. Make sure you do subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. If you're interested in taking your sync career to a more dedicated level and you wanted to make that decision with us to be a part of this process fully commit and be in and participate with these Zoom calls and participate with the progress chart that we're going to be releasing. Actually, it's already released in Sync Academy. Have some collaboration opportunities, all the cool things that we're going to be doing with Sync Focus. Click on the link below. You can definitely join us right now and get started. Basically, we already have quite a few members that are putting in their progress chart right now, letting us know exactly what their goals are for the year. I want you guys to start thinking about that right now and also thinking about, again, the first decision, which is how many hours per week are you going to commit to your sync licensing career? Less is better. I'll be honest. Don't get too ambitious today, okay? Everybody who thinks that they're going to conquer the world today because it's New Year's Day are going to be sorely disappointed in a month or two. So if you last year were showing up not even an hour a week, put 1 hour a week, right? 1 hour a week. That is totally cool. In fact, give me the idea right now. That's why I do these live calls. Sometimes I get ideas as I'm talking that I need to do. I'm going to put a column in the progress chart for you guys to put in the exact hour of how many hours per week you're going to commit to it, because that's going to be a very public chart that those of you there in Sync Academy are going to get access to that. So you can see each other's commitment and you can see yourself, and you're also always going to know throughout the whole year, did say that I was going to commit five hours a week to this. All right, I've only put in 1 hour this week. I better get busy, right? So I'm going to put that in there. So that's something I'm glad that I kind of stumbled on right now. So wishing you guys all the best. Happy New Year. If you want to learn more about this, there's a link below. We're happy to have you guys in Sync Academy. I'm going to get back to getting ready for our presentations this Monday and all the videos